Let's be honest. Buying cannabis shouldn't be complicated, sketchy, or low quality. That's why I want to tell you about Mood.com. That's MOOD.com. Mood ships federally legal cannabis straight to your door. No medical card, no hassle. And here's the kicker. The quality is better than anything you'll find at your local dispensary. Yeah, I said it. Whether you're into edibles, concentrates, flower, or just looking to explore, you'll find it all at Mood. And it's not just the variety that makes them stand out. Every product is sourced from small, American-owned family farms that care deeply about what they grow. It's cannabis you can trust, delivered discreetly, and ready to elevate your mood. And because you're a listener, you get 20% off your first order. Just head to Mood.com, that's MOOD.com, to get started.
When you're in Illinois, you'll find wonder in every direction. Feel the vibrant energy of Chicago as you explore the Lakefront Trail or take in unforgettable skyline views. Beyond the city, Illinois has small-town charm and big outdoor adventure. Hike in the Shawnee National Forest, sip wine in Galena, and cruise along the iconic Route 66. From Lake Michigan to Wren Lake and everything in between, Illinois shines all over. Visit enjoyillinois.com today.
But I mean, if you have one tree, it seems like it's going to take 5 minutes. Now, where do you want the wood chips thrown?
The road.
Yeah, done. That'll be easy.
Figure the rain comes, washes those things into the sewer, done on its
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like recycling.
You're welcome, environment. You can't be falling asleep, Steve. You might miss the rare flying red squirrel or whatever you're hoping to see in your backyard.
The great summer migration.
Right,
when they all fly south.
Yep, and they all gather in the V, and they all sneak under the fence in that formation.
Just run,
and then they're
run
gone.
to Mexico.
And I don't remember if I ever resolved one, because I'm in fourth grade.
So like punches are throwing,
yeah,
and you're wait a minute,
Jonathan, stop hitting her in the eye. I'm trying to fill out my checklist. So
don't throw mud at my vest. I'm going to get this out of the way right off the top. Apparently there was a controversy. I didn't say the date last week. So it is Sunday, April 7th, 2019, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast. Apologies to everybody for breaking that 140-some episode streak.
Well, no, because according to Nikki, on her handwritten spreadsheet that she made,
yes,
is you have missed it before.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, she could not find one for, I don't know, July or something of last year, I think.
Oh, well.
But thank you for getting it out of the way. I felt all out of sorts last week, and now I know why.
Well, we're all about, us, we're all about tying up loose ends. But we don't like stuff being left out there that we don't ever reference again.
But if you want to get to, last recap last week, we were too busy breaking down my fourth grade recess job.
Yeah, the conflict manager.
Conflict managers.
I became a squirreler, which is an old man who uses binoculars to look at squirrels in his yard.
Yeah, there's a lot going on that sometimes you get
a full episode
distracted.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad you nailed that down early on this week.
Not a problem. Not a problem. What a week it has been, especially the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Just 24 hours ago, we were 1 hour away from arriving in Van Wert, Ohio.
Yeah, now
for the reveal, the big reveal of the billboard. And if you haven't followed us on social media, I would definitely do that, especially Twitter, because there was most of the stuff we posted yesterday went to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But the one video, we were doing a live Twitter video when we rolled up on the billboard for the first time. and it was spectacular.
Oh, yeah. Do we have the audio of that? Is there a chance you could get that ready quick?
I can pull that up.
So obviously this thing has been a year in the making, as we talked about extensively, Steve.
And that's probably, for the most part, what we're talking about today.
Yeah, sorry. So sorry in advance. If you were there yesterday, you're going to hear a recap of yesterday.
Yeah, if you're here for the hard-hitting news of the week, we probably won't get to some
But coming up, this is a little bit of off-air planning that we forgot to do off-air, Steve. But we also, coming up today, we have to update the Throat Goblin Tournament.
Yeah. So
we'll read the recap of the matches, and we'll post the new ones for next week. We may not have all of the...
Yep.
not have all of the audio ready.
We will, but it's not going to be as quick as it's been in years past.
I noticed this when I opened up my weekly show prep Word document that I have, Steve. And number one, our Billboard visit. Obviously, we talked about this, and it's going to consume most of the time. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Throat Goblin Tournament update. And I realized the intro's playing, and we have not discussed this since last Sunday.
Yeah.
The last time we updated the Throat Goblin Tournament, but seeing as the NCAA basketball tournament is down to the Final Four, we are officially a week behind, and after Monday we'll be 2 weeks behind.
Yeah.
So it's time we will update that in some fashion on this episode. But yeah, this Billboard a year in the making. I
have the audio right here.
You do.
I can happily play it right now.
So this is our very first eyesight. Now we saw pictures from our Billboard guy and from our friend Pat down, who lives and works down there in Van Wert. But this was our very first visual, the first time we laid eyes on our Billboard.
So in this video here, I think we pulled over. We were just a couple of minutes away from the Billboard, so we wanted to be rolling so we could give you actual live audio and the first true reaction.
Do you see it?
I see it on the
Let me
coordinate the traffic lights, folks. So
next time you're in Van Wert and you need your automobile worked on, try Superior Audio.
You're going to buy here and you're going to pay here. That's
not
the
auto.
Convenience that Superior Auto is providing.
Oh my God, I see it.
Do you see it?
I see it on the
And we are passing the car dealership, and there it is, next to Van Wert bedrooms. Our big stupid faces.
That is the stupidest thing I have ever seen in my life.
I am so proud. It is the highlight of not just the day, but my life. Oh.
Now,
that was it.
Do you also have the audio? Because that was an early run-through, Steve. Mm-hmm. You and I went there before the 1 p.m. is when we'd listed. We got there a little early, had a little lunch. Drove by just to take a glance at the Billboard.
Yes.
Do you have the video and audio of when we pulled into the parking lot to meet?
No.
Okay. We ripped into the parking lot and in front of a business called Van Wert Bedrooms.
Yep. Very nice looking establishment.
We blaring our intro music. Malt Shop Bop was blasting to all the citizens of Van Wert. There was applause, if I remember right.
There was a bit of cheering.
There was.
Made me very happy.
We were honking away. It was a joyous occasion. So yeah, we were able to finally see that, and as you can hear, genuine surprise there, and that and joy in that audio,
which is crazy because, like you said, we had seen it before.
Yeah,
we knew exactly what it was going to look like. Are you hearing that?
Yeah,
sounding a little fuzzy. We knew exactly what it was going to look like. There shouldn't have been a surprise at all, and yet when we pulled in, it was still like Christmas morning,
and it's. You can't really take into account because we saw the location. I saw what the Billboard looked like in the location, but I didn't really consider, it's set back behind the bedroom store. I posted the picture. You have to, again, check our social media, like Steve said, at Steve and Kyle, Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle, on Instagram at Steve and Kyle, and you can see the picture of the Billboard. And next to it, we're up against Van Wert Bedrooms cat puns on their little display board. Yeah. So it's a comedy race down in Van Wert, and someone said down the road there was one of the signs said 404, like error 404, sign not found on their display board.
They're clever down there.
So we walked into the Laugh Shack down in Van Wert, Ohio, with all these local businesses trying to one-up each other's jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was something. Man, this was something. I don't know why my phone is not letting me send this video.
Oh, not a big deal. It's,
no, that's all right. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way, and I will play it right from my phone.
Closer than ever. Well, no, we've already driven by once. So we're close, just as close as we were.
I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. Okay, we're sitting at the light.
Oh, yeah.
It's about only
to hit the music.
So, of course, we played our own music.
And it doesn't sound like it, but that's literally as loud as my car stereo went.
There's legitimately a group of people in the park.
There were 10 people there. There was little cheering.
A lot of it. Steve's phone didn't pick it up. That was very exciting. About 10 people standing in the Van Wert bedrooms parking lot.
That was I can't even begin to tell you how crazy that was to me, because even though we had people who on Facebook and Twitter said, I'm going to be there. When we pulled in the parking lot and there were people standing there waiting for us, that blew my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, part of me wanted to shake them and say, why are you here?
Well, especially some. And
what have you done? The only person that had a legitimate excuse for being there is Pat, because he was working like a half a mile from there yesterday. He's the one that, when we first announced that the billboard was going to be in Van Wert, Ohio, he was up on a roof like nailing down shingles, listening to the podcast, and heard, and we're coming to, and then the dart was thrown, Van Wert, Ohio. And he said he looked to his left, and like 50 feet away, there was a welcome to Van Wert sign, because he grew up in the area. I believe I forget what town something, yeah.
Dolphin? Does Dolphin sound like it's accurate? Dolphin, Ohio?
Dolphin, Ohio. Yes, that's where he grew up, and Van Wert was the way he described it to us yesterday was that was where they would go cruising when he was in high school, and they got everyone got their driver's license.
I'm still trying to figure out what that meant. Was it just?
Oh, you don't know? You didn't do cruising?
I mean, were they having beers? Were they just driving?
It's where you just drive.
Now here's my question, because I wasn't born and raised in a big city, but apparently, me in the 1990s and early 2000s, this is a little bit country bumpkin for me. He made it sound like Van Wert police said, no.
He did.
No more. He accused Van Wert police of profiling Dolphin residents.
Yeah, Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Just like the animal, if there's more than one of them.
Sad nets.
Seems it's not dolphins.
Delphites. And he accused them of you can't cruise here anymore.
Kicked him out of town. Kicked him back across the canal to Dolphin.
But how can police say, hey, I could tell that license plate. I know it's Ohio, but it's got the stink of a dolphin plate. You need to take that ramshackle pickup and get over the canal, take the covered bridge over the canal, and get out of my town. How would police know they're from Dolphin, and why can police tell them you can't drive here if you're from Dolphin? I have a lot of questions for Pat, and I don't want to call him a liar on this podcast, Steve, but now that you're telling me cruising is literally just them driving around, not track racing, not, smoking marijuana, not drinking beers while they're driving, but literally just driving to drive.
Yeah.
I question, is he trying to incite a Van Wert rivalry with us?
I don't know. Now we're getting all out of order here.
Way sidetracked. Sorry. I'm all fired up about Patrick's lies.
But we digress.
But we digress.
So we left Kyle's house 9 o'clock yesterday morning, made the 3-hour drive straight through, no stops, nothing. Straight through to Van
Don't have
Wert.
time for that.
We were taking pictures and videos the whole way, so hopefully, again, social media, Steve and Kyle on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And so we started getting close. We pulled over. We recorded the video that we just played for you a few minutes ago. And so initially, we drove past the billboard. Shot that video. We were shocked. At that point, it was about 12:15 or so. We had told everyone that we were going to be getting there around 1. So we doubled back, went to one of a great hometown food establishment there.
Yeah, we wanted to find the local fare. You know,
So
we're traveling, so you want to make sure to sample all the local fare and garb.
Yeah, so we did. We sampled the King of Burgers. Burger King, I believe, was the name.
I tell you what, haven't heard of it? Delicious burger.
I had the one, their signature one, called the Hopper, I think.
Yeah, I don't know where that would come from, but hey, you know what? Good for them. They clearly, the public came out in droves to the King of Burgers.
So as we're standing there at Burger King waiting for our food, placed our order. It took entirely too long for them to get us
Took a few minutes.
standard menu items like burgers and fries. But we're standing there next to the soda fountain, and a man walks up to us, and he mentioned something about your Michigan State shirt, because you were wearing a Michigan State shirt and hat.
It's game day yesterday.
Showing your allegiance. Yeah, you had your uniform on. You were ready to be tagged into the game.
Yep.
Last night. Mentioned your shirt. And then he said, wait a minute. Are you the guys on the billboard? And I heard exactly what he said the first time, but I was so taken back. I said, what? What did you say? Are you the guys on the billboard down the street?
Yeah.
And we both bashfully said, yes. And then he said, I'm just messing with you guys. It's me, Pat. So he was...
No idea.
He just happened to... I guess he was watching the live video when we drove by the billboard. He was on his lunch break, again, a half a mile away. Said he was going to stop at the pizza place and grab a couple pieces of pizza, but we had said in the video, we're going to go to Burger King. So he decided to come to Burger King and mess with us. And as happy as I was to hear that was the case, I was also a little disappointed, because I was kind of hoping... when the whole time we were driving down, we thought, wouldn't it be crazy if this billboard was the talk of the town and everybody's wondering,
right,
what's going on? Who are these guys? What's a podcast? And that was not the case. So we sat at Burger King. We had lunch with Pat. Talked learned about the area. Mm-hmm. She's got 4 kids, I believe, 3 girls and a boy. Growing up in the shadows of Van Wert, in the wonderful community of Dolphin.
I mean, anybody can raise a family. The big decisions come down to what type of community do you want. Do you want to raise your family in the rat-infested, streets running with blood town of Van Wert, home of the vile Frickers family? Or
do you want to cross back over the canal?
Take that covered bridge, cross the canal, just see, homes lined up and people wave. Steve's dream.
Rolling countrysides.
Yeah. Neighbors holding out.
Neighbors waving as they're cutting their grass with those mowers that don't have actual motors.
Yeah, it's just like a manual push.
It's a wheel with blades on it.
Just waves. The milkman is carrying his jars of milk, stops and waves, offers you a complimentary jar.
Talking about a little place called Dolphin,
Ohio.
Dolphin, Ohio.
And that's where Patrick decided to raise his beautiful family. Mm-hmm. So he was working. But, so we were able to at least have lunch with Patrick, which was very nice. And because he could not stay very long, and he was not able to join us in the next most bustling community of Convoy, Ohio, Steve. But again, I jump a little too far ahead. So we were able to have lunch with Patrick. He took a few minutes, went and joined us at the billboard. The video you heard there of the crowd roaring as we approached we were able to take a bunch of pictures. Again, those are all on the social media. Talked there, hung out in the parking lot of Van Wert bedrooms
For entirely too long.
for about an hour. And at one point, we have a listener, a friend of the show named Abe, who he was a few minutes past 1.
Yeah.
And we were staying, again, there was about 6 or 7 cars in Van Wert bedrooms parking lot, which I'm comfortable saying, Steve, was the most traffic the Van Wert bedrooms parking lot has seen since the spring sale of 1998.
I would assume that there were no doubt salespeople inside just going, oh, here they come.
I'm finally going to sell this vanity today. Or, no, it's a bedroom. That's a bathroom. I'm finally going to sell this queen mattress
That guy
today.
looks like he needs a Posturepedic.
Instead, we all sat outside. So we're hanging out. We're just chatting, talking about how stupid it is that people have driven from anywhere to see our faces 10 feet 6 inches tall, 22 feet 9 inches wide. And out comes a person in a blue work shirt.
Yeah.
Not out, but I'm sorry. When we saw him coming from across the
it
parking
appeared
lot,
as though he came out of the Van Wert bedroom.
he walked up and I was like, oh boy, here we go. Here it is. And it's not a big deal.
He had a look about him that he was I was fully expecting him to say, hey, my manager wants me to ask you guys if you can get out of the lot.
Yeah. Or at least move your cars, which again, that's totally understandable. The noon rush.
We were loitering.
Yeah. Well, the 1 p.m. rush was coming. Mm-hmm. It was just running a few minutes late that day, and the bedroom sale was heating up. So they needed to clear the lot around too. So he walks up and you turn, hey,
man, how's it going? Good.
And you just said, I'm Steve.
And he said, I'm Abe. And from that moment on, I knew we were fine.
Yeah, our friend of the show, Abe.
He was another unintelligent person that made this drive for some reason.
Right, and I'm
just kidding, Abe.
We sat down.
I do question everybody's everybody's motives 100%. Abe he was the only other one that had a bit of an excuse for being there because he works nearby. Yeah. Like he works very close to there. He was I guess he listened to the radio show when we were on in another market that we failed in and continued to listen. Same with Pat, who listened when we were on in a market that we're no longer in because we can't seem to maintain.
Yeah. Awful show.
So
but it's funny because we sat down with Abe, or when we talked to Abe a little later, I still don't know if he's serious. I think he is. I really only stopped because I was on my way home from work.
Oh, I 100% believe that.
Which coincides with every single thing we've heard about this podcast via review and told to our faces.
Yeah. That was it was essentially a review, but instead of us reading it and being sad, the person said it directly to us.
Well, there was another person there in a similar boat, one of the brothers Humphrey, Stephen Humphrey, who he made it very clear he did not enjoy our program.
Yeah.
Until I think it was a year ago.
I had an interaction with him at an after party after the Side Gigs Live at Night show.
Mm-hmm.
And I must have convinced him, like, hey, give it another shot.
Yeah.
And he did.
And he listens.
I remember having an interaction with him, but I don't remember the specifics of it.
Right.
But yeah, he turned it around.
It was
we turned him around.
Yeah, you're darn right. That's how you convince people.
One at a time.
When they use mean words to describe this podcast, you say just give it one more chance. And then when they do,
and nothing is different.
Nothing is different.
Yeah, because we don't. It's not like after that interaction, I called you up and said, hey, man, we got some changes to make.
Yeah.
We got to win somebody over. No. We stayed the course. So I'm happy to know that we didn't change one thing.
Yeah.
Except for his mind.
Well, and our numbers show it.
No better off now than...
We may have gained a Humphrey. We lost a lot of others in the process.
Yeah. To this day, our most listened to episode is still episode number 1.
Number 1. Never to be topped. Never to be topped. So, yeah, we hung out there. That was nice. We took a bunch of photographs. Our friend Zach showed up. Zach was 10 times more prepared than you and I, Steve.
Zach is always more prepared.
He actually brought a camera.
Brought a tripod.
Absolutely stunning.
Set up the camera with the timer and everything so we could take a group photo. And we took a bunch of individual photos. At one point, you were yelling at anyone that was walking by or driving through the parking
You would
lot.
say yelling. I was simply collecting the accolades that were clearly coming our way.
Mm-hmm.
Never have so many people been conveniently, Steve, quote, out on walks in this community as they were yesterday, a little after 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So, you see a family and they're kind of glancing. They see a group of people in the bedroom parking lot.
They know something's up.
And they're probably glancing at the billboard. So I simply chose to tell them, hey, thanks for listening. Yeah, that's me on the billboard. Mm-hmm. Did that with a couple of passerbys, but one passerby, Steve,
Karen,
you had to have an interaction with.
I did. Karen walked by.
Well, and this has been a discussion on this show before because this happened in public for us a year or two ago. We've talked about how I'll wear my costume out during big games for Michigan State.
Yeah, your uniform. You'll wear your team uniform out.
And you saw this a year ago or so where I would say to somebody also wearing Michigan State stuff, go green.
Yeah.
And the response from that person that day and 98% of the time is
go white.
That's the colors of Michigan State. So you decided, as you see Karen.
So Karen, an older woman, walked by on her way to the auto dealership next door, and I noticed she's got a Spartans shirt on.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, time to find some common ground. Karen walked by. I said, go green. And she turned and looked at me. We made eye contact, and then she continued to walk, which at that point you then said, I got it for you. Go white. Well, that was all it took because then we had welcomed her in. So she turned around, you pointed to the billboard and you said, yeah, that's me up there.
I'm proud. I'm like a proud father. I don't show off Reed this way to people. Yeah, that's my son. But yet there my face is 10 feet 6 inches tall. And so, yeah, I say, hey, yeah, I know you're wondering. Yeah, that's us on the billboard there. That's me and him. And I'm pointing to you back and forth. And
she said, no, it's not. Wait, is it? And she's looking at the billboard, looking at you, looking at the billboard, looking at you. And then we finally convinced her, yes, it was.
Yeah.
And then we then gave her a poster with our pictures on it, which Philip had designed for us. I don't think we autographed them, though, did we?
Not hers, no. Because that was given away by our friend Timmy DeShano within 1 second of her being there. He decided he was giving her that poster. So I did make a deal with her. She was working at Guaranteed Auto in Van Wert, Ohio, and I said, hey, every car you're trying to sell, you promise them a free subscription to Steve and Kyle. Mm-hmm. And you tell them to go to steveandkyle.com.
Enter the promo code nothing.
And click subscribe. They'll know. They can pick up the IP address that they just bought a car from Van Wert. Mm-hmm. And you get a free subscription to the podcast. So we had an interaction with Karen, and I'm assuming that poster is hanging up in Guaranteed Auto right now. We will have a check on that from our friend Pat in a few weeks when he goes in and fakes buying a car. I don't know if he knows that yet.
Yeah, Pat, fake buying a car.
You have to go fake buy a car at Guaranteed Auto, or at least go in and say, hey, Karen, how are you? I'm Pat. Where's that poster? And then menacingly crack your knuckles to make sure she knows that should be hanging on the wall.
So after the interactions there, we took a bunch of photos again. We then convoyed to Convoy.
Yeah.
Convoy, Ohio, the town, 5-6 miles away.
Yeah, found our new home away from home, Steve.
Oh, D's on Main Street.
D's on Main Street. Never in my life have I seen a group of people, and when I say a group, I mean two, so shocked at this quantity of people coming in.
Yeah.
We walked into literally one person working behind the bar, two people sitting at the bar who also work at the bar or own the bar or whatever. And I walk in and I see, wow, there's tables lined up in a separate room. I say, hey, can we sit back here? And him and the bartender look at each other for about 3 seconds too long. How many you got? I don't know, 10 or 12. Nods his head and goes, I guess.
Now, this was I mean, this was a local bar. You could tell that
Sure.
this was like the local watering hole. People go there on Friday after a long week, or go there for, you know, a beer after work. And so we wondered what the, you know, obviously it's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock on a Saturday. It's probably not going to be that packed. So when they see a big group of 12 people walk in, they're going to know, like, these people aren't from here, because the first thing that they did, they walked over. Very nice gentleman. Where are you all from? So we kind of went around the table. Grand Rapids, Lapeer, Nashville, because Chris drove 8 hours from Nashville.
Chris Pruitt, who might be the nicest gentleman I've ever talked to in my life. Chris, you're fantastic. Drove more than 8 hours from outside of Nashville, brought us a gift.
Yes, which we've eaten so many
Oh, my God. We've eaten so many dark chocolate.
Oh, dark chocolate Kit Kats are so good.
You know, we were in a bit of a haze on the way back yesterday, but I think I've come to the conclusion that is the world's best candy.
Tier 1, right?
That's tier 1. Dark
Tier
chocolate
1A.
Kit Kats, tier 1 candy. For another day, we can discuss that. So, yeah, we kind of go around the room. And like you said, I mean, listen, Lynn, my God, what an outstanding show. So Lynn forced her poor boyfriend to drive almost 6 hours from outside Alpena, Michigan to come see us in
Did I say
Van Wert.
Lapeer?
Lapeer was Zach.
Oh, Lapeer was that. Okay.
Lapeer was our friend Zach, who showed up, the only one prepared. Lynn from outside Alpena. Timmy from the east side of the state. The brothers Humphrey and wife from West Michigan here as well.
Now, it was funny, too, because we thought, all right, they're going to hate us at this place. And, man, they could not have been nicer.
Unbelievable.
They could not have been. And that's unfair for us to say that, to prejudge what they're going to think, but they could not have been nicer. It was such a wonderful group of people there, from the bartender to the other gentleman that was bringing us some food, and they were so nice.
It was awesome, right?
And I got to wonder what they were thinking, though, when as soon as we sat down, we noticed they have a Touch Tunes or whatever.
Yeah, jukebox.
The jukebox.
The newest thing in that bar.
Yeah, with you download the app, play as many songs as you want. So I got to wonder what they were thinking when, as soon as we sat down and realized that there was a Touch Tunes there, the first thing we started playing was Shallow from A Star Is Born, and boy, did it play loud.
That's
like we don't have, you know, you just select the songs. You don't have any selection over the volume. So when the bartender came over to bring us our first round of drinks, and she had to like yell like, "Who ordered the beer?"
Yeah,
we said to her like, "It's okay, you can turn that down.
Yeah, we don't need the concert."
And then she, "Are you sure?" Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're positive.
We could use 25% of this. We're simply doing it for some background noise, for, you know. And so, yeah, we played about 5 or 6 songs off of that, and then it became a war as we're then fighting somebody's paying extra to play The Offspring and the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, whatever. But you had a fantastic time at D's on Main Street in Convoy, Ohio, which I think a little bit of fear was warranted, though, Steve, because, again, the last interaction was the same message you had sent Fricker's Chicken.
Yeah.
And I copied it, and I sent it to D's on Main Street, simply requesting if we could do the podcast there. And in hindsight, I think we could have anyway. They wouldn't have known a thing.
Probably, because we were in a separate room.
Yeah. And it was met with the exact same reaction, which is, no thank you, not interested.
Yeah.
But how many bridges can we burn in one small community? So D's on Main Street was the choice anyway. Ended up working fantastically.
We need to message them back.
And say, absolutely.
Say, thank you. We are so happy to have been here.
Yeah.
You guys were great. We left them with a little souvenir.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they've noticed yet. One of our posters.
Yeah, we got to get into that because, boy, we're running tight on time already.
Yeah, this is
by the way, we should say this is going to be an abbreviated episode.
Brief 60.
We're a little flamed out from yesterday.
Yeah, we basically did like 3 episodes yesterday.
We really did. Now, what we should have done is just made kind of the acknowledgement to each other before getting in the car, like, "Hey,
don't
we got an episode tomorrow. Here's Apple Music on my phone. Whatever. Play what you want.
I'll put on my headphones.
Yeah, or whatever. We don't need to talk." Now, sure, would that have been
just driven separately?
Would that have been weird to?
Or like I sit in the back seat,
yeah.
and you sit in the front seat.
Would that have been weird to everyone else? Absolutely, but not everybody else has been constantly producing 2 hours of gold level entertainment on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one will be a bit abbreviated after yesterday, but yeah, we left. So one thing we hadn't mentioned, because you and I decided to do this on our own, a little bit of a lesser extent, but when we traveled to Boston, we brought World Tour shirts for everybody who joined us there and handed those out.
We did. Man, we brought them with us, didn't we?
Yeah.
Traveled like 8 or 10 shirts or
only
something.
thing in my backpack. Was like
we
10
probably
t-shirts.
looked like such terrorists
there's
getting
no
on that
question.
plane, because you had a backpack with 8 t-shirts,
Yeah.
and I had nothing. I didn't even bring a bag with me that
I had
day.
like a phone charger in my pocket.
Yeah.
And that was it. And so this time what we did was we had our friend Philip, Philipart at PHILAPART on Twitter for all of your art needs, design us a little mini tour poster. Again, we posted these pictures as well on our social media. You can check them out.
Did you post them to all? Because I saw
Probably not Instagram. Okay. I don't have that directly linked.
Okay.
But those, we had some of those printed from his design, and they are beautiful, Steve.
Yes, they look like old concert posters, which coincidentally, when we first sent Philip a message asking if he could do that, he said, that's how I that's how he started.
Yeah.
He started by designing concert posters.
Yep. Crazy fortuitous turn of events there. So he designed that for us in a really, really quick turnaround. We had a bunch of them printed, brought them down to everybody's joy.
Yeah, because while we were standing there looking at the billboard, we had left them in the car. Yeah. And so I ran over and I got them. I was like, oh, boy.
They're going to love these.
They are going to go nuts.
Yeah.
Took them out, had them in a little cardboard box, opened them up, showed them to everybody. Like, everyone kind of leaned in, looked at them, and
I think part of it was
out. They were probably just too excited.
Part of it's probably because you never really know in that situation, like, are they going to ask us to pay for these things? Like, it's,
I mean, obviously they're all going to want autographs,
right? Well, yeah, those were not optional. So
we did decide that autographs
mandatory.
Were mandatory.
I'm surprised. Oh, can you just autograph it on the back? That'd be
no.
Nope. Which side of my face, top or bottom?
Yeah, front and center.
So
that's what you're getting.
So we handed those out, and Steve, you stuck one up on the wall. So if you're visiting Convoy or Van Wert, take a look. There should be a Steve and Kyle tour poster in the D's on Main Street side room. There's a Steve and Kyle podcast tour poster in Guaranteed Auto in Van Wert, Ohio. Yeah. And there is a 2-year-old Steve and Kyle podcast sticker on the post where our billboard resides currently. So we are all over.
Did it actually stick?
We don't know.
I'm pretty sure it fell off 1 second after we tried.
All over the middle of Ohio there, though, Steve, or sorry, the western portion of Ohio. Mm-hmm. So be sure to check us out there. But no, that was a fantastic showing. So we have these prints, and now we have to figure something out. We have a few extra.
I think we got 5.
5 extra. They're very limited, of 20. So we need to figure out how to give these away, or how to figure out who deserves these things, and we can ship them out to everybody. So we'll figure that out, and we'll talk about that in the coming weeks. But if you're interested in that design, which, again, is gorgeous, you can get that on all the merch. That'll be posted. That is up right now, steveandkyle.com/merch. Another beautiful Philip design for your buying needs.
Printed on high-quality cardstock.
Ooh, boy. Well, I don't even know if I should mark it. The tournament might be dead.
Might be.
But no, that was a fantastic outpouring of support. So again, thank you to everybody, and I'm not going to try to drone on about it, but to Timmy DeShano, who showed up, both of the brothers Humphrey, wife Liz, who showed up, Lynn, her boyfriend, never caught your name. I am deeply sorry for that. Chris Pruitt, who drove from Nashville. We had Abe, who drove from just over the Indiana border.
Zach, of course, who even brought a jar of pond scum.
Zach, who brought pond scum, brought his very own poster. Steve and Kyle won billboard outside Van Wert, Ohio. And I don't believe... oh, boy, now I forgot.
Hold on, I'm going around the table. It was Zach... Then were you on the... No, who was on the...
It was you and me, and then it was Timmy, and then it was Abe, and then it was Zach, and then it was Lynn. It was her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. It was Liz. Both of the Stephen and Jeremy, the brothers Humphrey, and then Chris
right next to me.
Yep,
Yeah,
and then Pat showed up, obviously.
Pat, yep.
Leanne, who wanted to be there, she couldn't make it. But no, thank you to everybody who showed up for that. How stupid, crazy to see our faces on a billboard. Thank you for everybody for joining in that day. And I talked about this to you, Steve, I was very nervous because essentially it's you and me. It's two people who were kind of dumb and we're just normal guys. Why is anybody wanting to see this? And what do we do? Should we have like a trained performance ready to show these people? We have to entertain them,
Hello,
right?
my darling. Hello, my lady.
I had a fantastic time. Right when we sat down in the car, first thing I said, you said, boy, that was a lot of fun. Thrilled to be able to meet a lot of the people that I haven't met before. Timmy, fantastic person. Chris, Abe, just awesome.
How about
that
those
was so
headphones?
fun.
You didn't like those headphones
Didn't like
Timmy had, did you?
No. Skull, they vibrate your head.
Crazy
it's weird.
headphones. They wrap around the back of your head, which, pretty normal. But then instead of actually going in your ears, they sit like... Is that like your temple, I guess?
Yeah, your temple.
Yeah. They sit basically right on your temple, and they just inject the music into your brain.
Which, hey, when you're listening to A Star Is Born, it's the only way to listen to it. So, again, thank you to everybody who even donated and couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wasted your money, but the payoff for me and Steve was more than worth it. I thoroughly enjoyed that, so thank you very much. Dolphin, Ohio.
Delphos is the town. Delphos, Delphos.
Yeah.
Dolphin, Ohio.
Dolphin, Ohio. And with that, Steve, it is time to update the Throat Goblin Tournament.
Oh, boy.
It's getting down there, Steve.
It is.
I don't want to step all over the...
It's all right. Steve 16 now. We're going to go over the results, narrow it down to the what I ate.
Ooh, the final 8 throat noises or body noises for this year's tournament.
If you want to be the best, you got to be a fighter. If you want to be the best.
This is our official Throat Goblin Tournament music. Some may prefer One Shining Moment. We prefer this Eminem sounding.
Anybody can use One Shining Moment, okay? That, a real rip-off. No, we're doing ours original by ripping off other music.
Yeah, that's right. So let's quickly run through the matchups of what happened in the Steve 16. Get it down to the what I ate. We'll then play the matchups and move forward from there because it's going to be a very, very big week.
Yeah.
Big week of voting.
A big week for the tournament this week. So as you said, we moved down to the what I ate this week.
Yeah, thanks to everybody who cast a vote this week. That was great of you to do. So I will call out the matchup. You'll let us know how it ended up, I guess, right?
Yeah.
In the gut division, that of course in the left ventricle, Pharynx Polytechnic, the number 1 seed taking on the number 5 seed Soft Palate Performing Arts Academy.
Yeah, no surprise here. Number 1 seed Pharynx Polytechnic moving on to the what I ate, Steve.
All right, and let's see, going down to the left, the throat division, also in the left ventricle. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I missed number 3 seed Mucus U taking on the number 2 seed Corpus Automotive Education Center.
Yeah, the returning Mucus University runs away with it, and they move on to the what I ate to take on Pharynx Polytechnic.
Going down to the throat division, we had the number 1 seed Cardia Center of Medicine taking on the number 5 seed. Remember, all the 5 seeds managed to advance.
Crazy, right?
Over the 4 seeds. They took on the number 1 seed Cardia Center of Medicine took on the number 5 seed Loud Stomach State.
Real first one goes down, Steve. Ooh. Number 1 seed Cardia Center of Medicine losing to Loud Stomach State. Narrow margin, and with that loss, Kyle's second throat noise. My second throat noise.
How many did you have total?
2 made it. 2 have been eliminated.
Oh, boy. So there's still 2 in?
No. I had 2 total. Sorry. 2 total made the tournament for me. Both have been eliminated. Neither of them making it past the round of 16.
Well,
so number 5 seed Loud Stomach State moving on to the what I ate.
You can't just jump in and think you're going to keep up with the big boys.
I got to tell you, I really thought Cardia Center of Medicine had a chance at winning it all. It was a nice one, and with that, Steve's dominance prevails. The last 8 will be all Steve noises.
In the throat division, the number 3 seed Antrim Secondary School taking on the number 2 seed University of Jowl.
Yeah, another close margin. University of Jowl, the returning team, wins another one. They move on to the Wada 8 to take on Loud Stomach State.
Let's move over to the right ventricle, the stomach division. The number 1 seed Phlegm A&M and the number 5 seed Trachea School of Fine Arts.
Narrow margin doesn't do it justice, Steve. By 1 vote, the number 1 seed Phlegm A&M moves on. The newcomer 1 seed holding on there, moving on to the Wada 8.
And the number 6 seed, still in the right ventricle in the stomach division, the number 6 seed Intestinal Rumble Art School, otherwise known as IRIS, taking on the number 7 seed Acid Reflux Correspondence School, ARCS. Yeah, that's what we call them here in the discussion den.
Yeah, a very close matchup. In seeding, not a close matchup by the voting, a runaway as Acid Reflux correspondent, the Cinderella of the tournament here. ARCS moving on to the Wada 8 to take on Phlegm A&M in a number 1 versus number 7 matchup this coming week.
No one had them getting past Gut State in the first round. The number 2 seed Gut State walked all over them, as we remember. Maybe not. It might have been very close. But now the story is, yes, they walked all over them.
Yeah, and so number 7 seed, the Cinderella of the tournament, ARCS, moves on to the Wada 8.
Staying in the right ventricle, going down to the bowel division, we had the number 1 seed Gullet Institute versus the number 5 seed Esophagus Episcopalian.
With the second occurrence of the number 1 seed losing, and again, this one wasn't just a narrow loss, absolutely demolished in the Steve 16. Esophagus Episcopalian, the returning Esophagus Episcopalian, moving on to the Wada 8, upsetting number 1 seed Gullet Institute.
So far, we have a 5 and a 7 seed in the Wada 8.
A 5, a 7. Only 2 of the number 1 seeds have moved on.
Man.
A real upset-ridden tournament.
And staying in the bowel division, the final matchup, we had number 3 seed Fat Lip Tech taking on number 2 seed Over Salivation Coastal State.
Another runaway, Steve.
Another upset.
Entire right ventricle seemed like full of absolute runaways. Not a lot, not a ton of very close matchups here. The last 3 we said runaways as Fat Lip Tech, the number 3 seed, moves on to the Wada 8 to take on defending champion Esophagus Episcopalian University, and that, everybody, is the official Wada 8.
Yeah. So do you want to hear the matchups real quick?
I do. This brings me joy. So the Wada 8, as we will move from the left ventricle there in the gut division, Steve. Number 1, Pharynx Polytechnic taking on Mucus U.
That's right. The number 1 seed Pharynx Polytechnic. Oh, boy. Taking on the number 3 seed Mucus University. All right, making our way down to the throat division. The number 5 seed Loud Stomach State taking on the number 2 seed University of Jowl.
Oh, my goodness. I'm already looking forward to the Phlegm 4, hearing who wins those 2 matchups.
Speaking of phlegm, let's make our way over to the stomach division in the right ventricle. We have the number 1 seed Phlegm A&M versus the number 7 seed ARCS, Acid Reflux Correspondence School.
What a run for them it's been. I'm going out and saying it now. Phlegm A&M moving on to the Phlegm 4.
Huge prediction, huh?
The largest.
And down to the bowel division in the right ventricle. It's the number 3 seed Fat Lip Tech. That's a crispy one.
That's very the ability to catch that clear, I think, is what's moving it on to the Wada 8.
Versus the number 5 seed Esophagus Episcopalian University. There it is. There's your What I Ate.
Wow. So, my huge prediction there in the What I Ate, I think the Phlegm A&M is ending the Cinderella run of ARCS.
Really?
And I think
ARCS is done.
I think ARCS is done, and that last matchup there. Just salt to the ears.
Wasn't expecting that to tip over. My microphone, of course, as it is prone to do from time to time. That thing completely, I didn't even touch it. I hadn't touched this microphone the whole time we've been recording.
And my other very large prediction, Steve, is that the defending champion, Esophagus Episcopalian University, going to lose to Fat Lip Tech in the What I Ate.
All right. You heard it here first, folks. I don't know who's going to win. I don't know who's going to lose.
Well, I picked two favorites, so what I just gave you are not very large predictions at all. It's the way technically it should have gone. But as you can see, as we talked about, the What I Ate, upset-ridden tournament. Only 2 number 1 seeds remain, 2 number 5 seeds remain, 2 number 3s, a number 2, and the Cinderella number 7 Acid Reflux Correspondence School.
Extremely exciting time here in the discussion den during the Throat Goblin tournament. Do we have Throat Goblin merch yet? Are we going to put up the completed
this
bracket?
I think we should throw that on the back of a shirt. Yeah, and we can also put up the logo for the Throaty too, so 0 people can buy that because who would want that on their chest?
Yeah.
I did. Speaking of merch, Steve, I did mention the poster design. That's up there. I'm going to be badgering Philip. He has a design that fills my heart with joy. I don't want to give away any other details than that, other than it has to do with last week's episode. I sent it to you, and
That's
I
great.
sent it with the caption last week. I said, you need to check the DMs immediately that Philip sent. Mm-hmm. And I said, I have tears rolling down my face. This made me laugh so hard. We're going to look to get both of those designs up. The poster design is up right now. You can get that on any merch. And again, we'll be talking here in coming weeks about how we're going to give away or figure out a way to get these last 5 prints, exclusive prints, signed, already signed, because we're not going to ask you, out into listeners' hands. So maybe you can take them, hang them in your office or your house, or take them to Steve's Side Gigs live shows.
And
so
ask for everyone else to sign them.
On the back, though.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we do have a few minutes left before we wrap it up, Steve. Do you want to give a quick rundown of your coming Side Gig live shows? Because as I've talked about my dream, and I talked about it with Timmy a little bit yesterday, I would like my face or the Steve and Kyle podcast presence at all of these live shows, whether it be wearing your merch, bringing a large picture of me, whoever did that a couple of weeks ago at your live show saying, rest in peace, Kyle, never invited to come to Steve's Side Gigs live show. That also fills my heart with joy. Get our faces in front of those dinosaurs of radio at their live shows. Not you included, Steve. I've said.
No. Yeah, of course
that'd be rude.
That'd
be incredibly rude.
Very mean.
So that I love it. I love seeing the pictures of our merch there, and as well also of signs. So what do you got coming up, Steve, live event wise?
Wait, we have to do this like we're comedians on a podcast.
Oh yeah, you got some music quick?
Talking about our upcoming gigs. Yeah. Oh, what happened to the one song I always like to use? I can't find it anywhere.
You just got to play like.
No, I'll throw in some Malt Shop Pop. What the?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
there's never anything wrong with Malt Shop Pop.
No. So so we'll be right back after these messages. Hey guys, Steve here from the Steve and Kyle podcast. Just giving you a quick update on my upcoming tour dates. This Friday, that would be Friday, April 12th, 2019.
Oh, is that what this Friday is?
Yeah. I'll be at the Recovery Sports Grill with the Free Beer and Hot Wings show on Friday morning. And then later that night, be at the Troy Music Hall with the Free Beer and Hot Wings show for Live at Night.
Oh, wow. Oh, at night, that's a night show.
Yeah.
A little more loosey-goosey there, Steve.
And then coming up next Friday, that's Friday, April 19th, I'll be in Flint, Michigan, the Flint, Michigan area for a live show with Banana 101.5.
That just the morning program?
Yep. Don't remember the name of the location. Believe it's at a golf course somewhere.
Take a look at all your local golf courses and sports bars. Steve will be in Flint.
And the following Friday, that's Friday, April 26th, I'll be in Kokomo, Indiana with the Free Beer and Hot Wings show.
Wow, busy couple of Fridays here.
For a live show with, again, the Free Beer and Hot Wings show. Taking a Friday off, but then right back at it Friday, May 10th. That's Friday, May 10th. Portland, Maine for a live show and a night show on the 10th at Aura in downtown Portland, Maine. Beautiful area. And then Friday, May 31st, Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, Michigan area with 104.9 The Edge. Don't remember the name of that location.
That's with Free Beer and Hot Wings as well?
And that's with Free Beer and Hot Wings as well. And then, Friday, June 14th, 2019, the year of our Lord, in New Jersey, with 105.7 The Hawk and the Free Beer and Hot Wings show.
Oh, okay.
That will most likely be at River Rock Restaurant and Marina Bar in Brick. Fantastic location. And then Friday, June 28th,
Call when you're
there's a live show and a live morning show and a live night show with The Razor. And then I believe that's about it.
Oh, good. We're finally all caught
Yep,
up, huh?
That's it.
Yeah.
So thanks for supporting the Steve and Kyle podcast, especially at the side gigs live appearances.
Yeah, it seems like you're carrying a lot of dead weight to those.
Hey guys, we're back. Steve and Kyle podcast. Thanks for sticking in there for that brief message segment.
And we should probably get right to it, right, Steve?
Oh, we are definitely getting right to it, and this is going to be the fastest of the fast
What are you
five
talking about?
that you've ever seen.
Fast five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, Steve, the final four.
Oh,
Joe
boy.
Biden.
Oops.
Game
Man,
of
don't
Thrones.
touch. Oh, TV
Been following
show.
The View.
Yeah, how about those?
And lastly,
women?
the border closing.
And boy, how are we going to get cars and
Yeah,
food?
border closed. The View before that.
Yeah.
Ladies, Game of Thrones.
Oh,
HBO
dragons.
Go. Listen tonight. It's on TV. Joe
Dragons.
Biden.
How about
Creepy
that?
hair
Yeah,
sniffer.
don't
Final
touch
four.
hair.
Did you watch it last night?
I
Don't need to
did.
talk about
Hoops,
it.
hoops,
Michigan
hoops.
State Steve.
Oh, boy. How about that?
Fast five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, first, the Alliance of American Football. Conor McGregor.
Boo.
Gronk retiring.
Yay.
Michigan State Steve. and Van Wert.
Yes, a
Ohio.
lovely village.
Let's hit him on the turnaround with the Michigan State Steve.
No need to. Move on.
Gronk
Ah,
retiring.
bummer. Yeah.
And Conor McGregor, he's retiring. But
What?
is he out of retirement?
Whiskey.
I don't know. And the Alliance of American Football.
Yeah, bummer for those guys. Boy, glad we were able to get through that.
Yeah. Well, we told you it was going to be a little abbreviated this week because
That's about how it goes every week, right, with the Fast Five?
Yeah, pretty much. Didn't sound any different than normal. So if you go to at Steve and Kyle on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you can see all the pictures, videos from yesterday's fantastic trip to Van Wert. You also see some of the posters that Philip designed, as well as the billboard artwork. It's all posted up there. Again, we have probably 5 or 6 of those posters that we're going to figure out a way to give them away. If anyone has an idea, just tweet at us, DM us, something like that.
I think we should plan something out, Steve. You mentioned, you heard all the plugs there that went on for 8 minutes about all your side gig live shows coming up. If you make, not make a scene, because I do not want that. Not even jesting. Do not interrupt the show at all. That's ridiculous. But if you're there wearing the merch, having a fat head of me, let us know if you don't have one of these. Take a picture. We'll figure out a way to get them to you. Maybe we can stuff a few in Steve's bag at some of these live shows coming. Maybe one a week. Maybe one per live show coming up.
That is easy to do.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that we drive to. It's very convenient to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you to everybody. Once again, thank you to Chris, who drove from Nashville, to the brothers Humphrey and wife Liz, who drove from West Michigan, to Lynn and her boyfriend, who drove from Alpena.
Hillman, Michigan, just outside of Alpena, Michigan, a 6-hour drive each way. Crazy outpouring.
Let's see, who else was...
Abe from across the Indiana border.
Abe was there. Thank you to Pat for helping us out. He's actually going to help us get the artwork from the billboard once it's done. Thank you to Zach. I feel like I'm missing somebody that was...
You mentioned Timmy. You'll see him
Timmy,
at all of the
course,
live shows. Timmy wearing the Stevie Tortellini merch that everybody seems to adore. I don't know if we missed anybody. I think that's it.
I feel like I got everyone. All right.
Yeah.
If not, we very much apologize. But yeah, thank you very much. Follow us on Twitter at Steve and Kyle, pretty much all social medias. And we will talk to you next week.
Yeah, full-length episode. Thanks.
Maybe.
Let's be honest. Buying cannabis shouldn't be complicated, sketchy, or low quality. That's why I want to tell you about Mood.com. That's MOOD.com. Mood ships federally legal cannabis straight to your door. No medical card, no hassle. And here's the kicker. The quality is better than anything you'll find at your local dispensary. Yeah, I said it. Whether you're into edibles, concentrates, flower, or just looking to explore, you'll find it all at Mood. And it's not just the variety that makes them stand out. Every product is sourced from small American-owned family farms that care deeply about what they grow. It's cannabis you can trust, delivered discreetly, and ready to elevate your mood. And because you're a listener, you get 20% off your first order. Just head to mood.com, that's MOOD.com, to get started.
You don't have to leave Michigan to earn a world-class education. At Walsh College, online learning and industry-leading programs let you study from anywhere, so you can grow your career and stay connected to your community. Walsh College has been the destination for business and tech degrees for over 100 years. Now is your chance to earn a degree designed to fit your busy life. Walsh College. Real-world education, real-life results. Learn more at walshcollege.edu.
Every parent knows the sugar crash struggle, right? Well, Dr. John's Healthy Sweets changed everything for us. From classic lollipops and hard candies to creamy caramels, chewy toffee, gummies, and rich chocolates. All made with plant-based, all-natural goodness. No artificial ingredients, just sweet satisfaction my kids love and I feel good about. Get yours at drjohns.com or on Amazon. Dr. John's Healthy Sweets. Keep the sweets, skip the sugar.